Ezra Miller threatens cop with hate crime for getting his pronouns wrong. Yes, that is the world we live in
it's
now.
It's the weapon of millennials.
It is. It's like it used to be like a hate crime happened to you. Now they threaten you with a hate crime. So before we get into this, I do want to read because I was curious about hate. You would probably be better at this than most to be able to describe like hate speech versus hate crime laws, like because
I could maybe give you the legal definition, but I'm not saying I stand by it.
Okay,
in the U.S., isn't it the case that there's just no such thing as a hate speech crime?
No,
yet
you can get convicted of hate speech.
You what?
No, in the U.S.
In the UK, you can.
Okay.
I know in the UK
so
you can.
Hate speech, from my understanding of it, is supposed to be tied to like racially or ideologically motivated behavior.
Okay.
Right? So like hate speech in the US is much more gray area because we have the First Amendment. Hate crimes are motivated by like animosity towards a certain group.
So I brought up the definition of the Wikipedia definition of hate.
Am I right?
Of hate crime. It says a hate crime, also known as a bias motivated crime, is a prejudice motivated crime which occurs when a perpetrator targets a victim because of their membership or perceived membership of a certain social group or racial demographic. Examples of such groups can include and are almost exclusively limited to ethnicity, disability, language, nationality, physical appearance, age, religion, gender identity, or sexual orientation. So remember, I think the most important part there is they mention prejudice motivated crime, which occurs when a perpetrator targets a victim because of. So they're saying that you went out of your way to do this. Now, if you go back to this article, basically it says that Ezra Miller, this is from his last arrest. When he got arrested, he got handcuffed and then put in the back of the cop car, and there's two segments here. The first part is where the cop is handcuffing him, and Ezra asks him honestly, very respectfully to please be careful with the handcuffs because he's like, I had my nerves and my hands damaged. So he said, yeah. So I'm giving him a little bit of.
When he was in New Jersey, he said these cops gave him nerve damage in his hands, and it is affecting his ability to play guitar.
He is a musician. We're going to talk about. He is a musician. He's in a band called.
We listened to
Look
the
how
music.
excited Brett is.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay,
it was not bad.
It's like generic.
Guys, you are drinking his weird Kool-Aid.
It's like
stop.
No, she liked his music. I said it was generic. It felt like early Cold War kids mixed with lameness. So basically, he gets handcuffed and he was like, look, when I was in New Jersey, I got arrested by cops who cuffed me too tight and damaged the nerves in my hand. I understand that you are not those cops, but please be careful.
Ezra Miller, who's been arrested on multiple occasions,
yes,
has preferences on how he is handcuffed.
Yes, he's explaining he's like, yes, I know that I'm a repeat felon, but please be careful. So it's
leaving like Yelp reviews of police departments. Their handcuffing technique, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
More police body cam has surfaced from the March incident. It says the footage starts with Miller in handcuffs complaining about pain in the wrists. Also, in every article, they say Ezra Miller is transgender, non-binary, and identifies with.
I thought he was gender fluid.
The they/them pronouns.
Where did you get gender fluid from?
From an article I read like 3 months ago when Brett made me start talking about this person.
If you're gonna make me talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I'm gonna make you talk about Ezra Miller.
Oh my gosh, mine is current events. This is like your weird fascination with a guy who's clearly losing his mind.
This article is from so whatever. You're wrong.
I don't mean to get angry with you on your first episode. Did you just wave your
I just waved you off. You're wrong.
You've been brushed off officially.
I could leave.
She
could have a really blank space.
That would be very awful. Please don't do that. I apologize. The footage starts with Miller in handcuffs complaining about pain in their wrist and telling cops that they need to be careful as Ezra is a musician and any damage to their nerves would be catastrophic to their music career. The things get even more tense as Ezra is being transported to the police station when one of the officers addresses Ezra as sir. I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago in the early aughts, you could refer to someone as sir, and it was a sign of politeness.
And he says he's trans. They say they're transgender, non-binary. Oh my gosh, Ezra Miller, don't come for me.
Saying I'm not. See, I actually got some comments from people when we first started covering him that were like, you guys shouldn't be respecting his pronouns because I kept trying to
That was what I was thinking the whole time because this person is going around terrorizing people.
I'm still trying, but I'm trying less difficult now because I'm like, if he can't even keep himself from cold cocking someone or throwing a chair at them, I'm not going to put all the effort in the world in to respect their pronouns. If you're a regular person on the street, I'm going to come at you with respect, but in this case,
he's wearing a tie. He looks masculine. The cop
is
trying.
You don't understand. He wears eyeliner.
But the cop's trying to be polite by using the term "sir." And
you know what his correction was? You should call me something. I couldn't even pronounce it.
Did he have a suggestion?
It was like Mixer
like
instead
Winixon, but
instead
Mixter?
of Mr.
I just
Which sounds
a
like
no from me, dog.
some kind of like off-brand streaming service.
well, Mixler is a thing. Mixler is a thing.
What
Yeah.
is that?
It's like for streaming, I believe. If somebody can put that
Can
in the
they
comments.
issue a statement saying, Miller, please don't use our brand?
Please, yes,
in
please.
your
I think they said Mixer, but imagine being this cop who's like gingerly handcuffing this guy, puts him in a car, refers to him as sir, and he's literally being told that he's committing a hate crime, and this dude's just probably like, what?
Not just a hate crime, but a technical
Also,
hate crime.
this quote, if you fail to do that again, it is an act of intentional bigotry, and it's a technical
How
hate
drunk
crime in the
was
court of
he
U.S.
when he
federal
said
law.
this?
Like, Ezra Miller, go to law school.
You know
then.
what? It's
are you
even
doing?
crazier if he said all of this while completely stone cold sober.
I mean,
I think he did. This is his personality.
it says,
Yeah.
once at the station, Miller continues to complain about the pain in the wrist, but is much calmer than the drive over. Okay, so the part where he did the part where I thought it was that was first. I thought that was him getting arrested and then being transported. The calm part is at the end of this interaction. It says, the cop says he was only trying to be respectful, but Ezra continues, if you fail to do that again, it is an act of intentional bigotry, and it is a technical hate crime according to U.S. federal law. Now, last time we were talking about him, he kept citing his Fourth Amendment rights.
He knows a lot about the law for an actor.
Yes, maybe he's a spy. Maybe he's a spy.
Good point.
He could be a spy from Russia. Maybe.
Nah, he's just read a lot of random articles on the internet. Don't worry. Do not fear.
No, it's against U.S. federal law to call this man sir.
So also, like, this points out
What a
that
crazy reality we're in.
it isn't. Can you imagine being this cop and being like, I'm just trying to go to work, get home to my wife and kids, and this guy is accusing me of a hate crime for calling him sir and handcuffing him in a way like. I feel
Isn't
like
he, also arresting it's funny that the guy who's like being arrested for breaking the law is like, hey, you're breaking the law over there. Like,
Right.
I just feel like you don't really have a lot of respect for U.S. law,
It's
or
like-
at least Hawaii law.
I imagine that he's just like, well, that would carry a lot more weight if you weren't in the back of my police car. That is for sure. So. Thank
you.
So it says, Ezra Miller accused of music theft by producer and rapper. It was an extremely unethical and hurtful act. So this is where I learned about his music career that I was unaware of.
Next time I come in, you guys are gonna be listening to his music.
Mary might be. So it says,
It wasn't
I
bad.
have
I
higher hopes for you
genuinely,
than this.
and I don't like much music, but like I'm not gonna say it was bad. Like that would
That's
be
how-
a lie.
This is how Ezra Miller brainwashes you. I'm
I
worried
guess I'm
about you.
like, yeah, I'm getting initiated into his
The-
cult.
Yeah, Jared Leto's
his
gonna
cult
be
of
so
personality.
jealous.
they could like merge their cults together.
No, that's too
No,
many.
then they'd end up
narcissists
killing
in
each
one
other.
spot. Yeah, that's how cults fall apart. They split.
So it says it's kind of like the NWO in pro wrestling. It became NWO Black and NWO
That's,
Red.
That's exactly
what it
about.
was. And
That's
then
110% the reference I was trying to make. Thank you for understanding me so
yes.
well.
So it says two musicians have accused Ezra Miller of stealing music that they worked on and releasing it without giving them credit. This reminds me of. Do you remember when it was like one of like Aaron Carter like used like some like fan made fan art for him or like did like a piece. It might not even have been fan art. He might have just downloaded it and like used it for an album cover. And the guy's like, "Could you please like take that down or credit me or pay me for my work?" And he's like, "F you." Like that was like that was a couple years ago. It says I think it was Aaron. Who's the hot mess of the Carter?
Aaron.
Okay, then
Although
it was him.
I'm not convinced the others aren't. We just hear about him more.
Yes. So it says the Fantastic Beasts actor has been in the center of a number of recent controversies. In April, Miller, who uses they/them pronouns, was arrested in Hawaii. Blah blah blah. We'll go down. It says speaking to Rolling Stone, music producer Oliver Ignatius spoke about his collaborations with Miller, alleging that Miller had published music online without credit or consent. Again, the name of the band is it was really interesting. It was do you remember what it was?
Sons of
An illustrious father.
an illustrious father.
So
yeah.
he's like
So he's misgendering himself
That's kind of
in
crazy.
the title of
Or
his band. Is he saying that he is a
cosplaying
son?
As a son.
S-O-N-S,
I assume, not S-U-N-S.
Yeah.
S-O-N, yes,
Yeah.
not S, yeah. So music producer Oliver Ignatius spoke about his collaborations with Miller, alleging that Miller had published work. It says, speaking of a decision to work with longtime friend Miller, Ignatius said, they were going through a scorched earth type fallout with their Hollywood career. They were severing many of their relationships in their life and seemed to be in a very very dangerous spiral. So this kind of confirms secondhand what people have been saying about him, that he's going through a very rough patch right now.
It's odd that they're saying that in the past tense, like it isn't an ongoing situation.
Well, they're kind of crediting as like what's leading up to what happened. It says the pair met up in the mainland U.S. and Hawaii to work on the project, with Ignatius described as the work as like pulling teeth. We all had high hopes that it was going to be a project that was beautiful, that it was going to be meaningful for us, he added, but it really didn't pan out that way. According to the artist, he then worked on his music independently in making production tweaks and adding a verse from Philadelphia rapper, I believe that, how do you pronounce that name? Gaius?
Yeah, let's say it's that.
Guevara. I could be getting
Say
that
it with
wrong.
confidence.
Yes. On one of the tracks, says after regrouping with Miller after the actor's arrests, Ignatius said that they fell out over a song he had written regarding a female friend who was murdered by her husband. He claims that Miller threw an aggressive temper tantrum over the track's meaning.
He so would.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, he's the king of temper tantrums. Ask
Well, he's
Hawaii.
also the king of.
Or
Of like getting offended on other people's behalf.
Or did I just misgender this
No,
person?
no. This is even funnier than that. So it says, they were completely triggered by the song, which totally freaked me out, because basic feminism is a really hard line, he said. If we don't agree that violence by a man against a woman isn't something worth speaking on, then we don't agree on much. Ezra's behavior throughout this exchange was atrocious, belligerent, threatening, and incredibly aggressive. I can't tell if he's saying, like, Ezra lacked the nuance of the song, or is Ezra saying that we need to agree on violence against women is bad, because there's probably no one in Hawaii committing more violence against women than Ezra Miller. So I don't know what
it sounds like that Miller didn't like the song, which apparently alludes to this
maybe
domestic
he
violence
felt
incident.
like it glorified the events in some way.
It says,
Let's try to have
That's
a
'cause
charitable
you're like a fan of his music.
interpretation.
You're trying to give this crazy person
Yeah.
It says, after Ignatius quit the project, Miller then posted the unfinished music online, including songs they had not worked on at all. What Ezra did was commit an extremely unethical and hurtful act, said Ignatius. They stole from artists that have fewer resources than them, but maybe have art that Ezra wants. The person I thought I knew was a much gentler soul than the person we're seeing right now. It's been a very concerning journey. I don't know if this speaks to perhaps drug use or just general mental health issues. I would hope that it's kind of something that he can get on. They can get under control. But like, look, I'm trying. I'm not trying.
I don't know why, but
Brett is the most forgiving person
your
on
thing.
this earth.
I have. There's a far less chance that he's going to be a.
This guy said, I'm posting this just to say, if you're an Ezra stan, just know that the music they're involved in isn't a result of their own work, especially the song that has my verse in it. I don't know which song that is. But,
yeah.
See, I'm technically not praising Ezra Miller's musical talents. I'm praising the person he stole from.
Well, I don't know if that's the one we listened to. The one we listened to was
Oh.
older. The one I put on was older, so I don't know about that.
Unless more evidence comes out of plagiarism.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Does this surprise you that?
No, that this impulsive person did something impulsive. No, I don't understand, Brett. Like, person acts erratically and selfishly and continues to all the time and has in the past. That's the headline you just gave me.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't know he was a musician, but stealing music seems right along
I guess
the
that
line.
does surprise me. It turns out he's a musician. Although I feel like, as Disney has proven to us, any childhood star could be a musician if they just have enough, time in the recording studio. So
yeah, enough modifications to the voice and everything like that. So, and I know it does not surprise you one bit at all.
Nope.
Well, I don't.
I'm curious about his tantrum and when someone's mentally ill, they kind of take something and run with it and assign a certain importance and gravity to something that no one else would. And I want to know what that was for him with the song. And maybe if that speaks to his own feelings about towards women that are causing him to maybe behave in a violent way,
almost panic in a way. Do you remember when kids were complaining about covering World War II in aspects of World War II Germany, and they're like, we shouldn't teach this in schools anymore because it might trigger the students. And people are like, oh no, wouldn't that be awful if kids had to learn about something awful that happened in human history? That's what it feels like. Like he's triggered by just the idea of this incident, and thus is like taking it out on the people he's working with.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe he feels like it's accusing him.
Yeah,
I feel like he's a narcissist, so trying to ascribe any higher meaning to his behavior is really like not worth it. I think that he's totally motivated by his own feeling and his own, whims and desires. And so like maybe Mary's right. He thinks that this is sort of indirectly a comment on him, and therefore he was against the song or whatever. But like, it's almost not worth trying to assign a rationality to this, like, because it's so intensely internally focused.
I think you could be 110% right that it could be very much like projection. Like he's kind of like looking at it back at himself, and it makes him uncomfortable. Yeah. Which I can definitely like. I think that's like the kind of the point of a lot of art in a lot of ways, is that it's supposed to make, like, if it reflects something in you, not everybody kind of has the ability to look at something and see that it's actually reflecting something back at them. Some people can just take art for what it is, but sometimes it can make you uncomfortable when you see something that reflects something inside you that maybe you haven't come fully to terms with. And if that's happening in the form of music, maybe that's if he's more emotionally high strung, that might come out in more explosive ways.
Yeah. So I genuinely hope the best for him, but
as
I
long
don't
as
want to be in the same room as him.
Yeah. I don't wish anyone ill. We just don't support Ezra Miller. At least this part of the room does not.
My hope would be that he just doesn't hit anybody here if we ever ended up in the same room as him.
But that would be a hell of a story. Anyways, Caleb Sherd says, heard about the money gun from Tim Pool's main channel, Timcast for the win.
Yes, and it's getting fun. Like, I can't not acknowledge it. Like, they're like, we were going back and forth when this first started, and we're like, do we acknowledge it that it's happening, or do we, like, it'd be kind of funny to just pretend like it's not happening, but it's very hard to do that. Like,
well, I always wonder if it's like, did that person like what I just said? Are they agreeing with Brett? Like, it's like this way that people interact with you now.
There's also the delay that you have to keep in mind, so they might just be doing it like for no reason.
So like, I'm grateful for it, and I like that you guys have adopted the habit of being like, thank you, okay, keep going. Like, we are appreciative for the support, and I think they're hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. Waffles Sensei sent another one. Dane, I am so sorry. I know your name. Forgive me, good sir. But now in solidarity with PCC, I will call you Dave now. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.